I've been looking forward to this all week, and then yesterday it just...
I'm sorry,
shit
there was a
happened.
wrestling happening.
Yes, yes.
It was a good
I was
wrestling.
gonna say shit happened, but no, wrestling happened was more important.
I got to see Matt Hardy argue with a kangaroo and talk with a giraffe possessed by the spirit of George Washington.
Yeah, that's pretty good shit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had like an entire zoo straight up.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? No, isn't it the zoo in his town? I think it's the zoo in his town.
They're giving him pretty free reign then. Fuck.
Well, I think he like donated the money for it, so I guess it would be technically his zoo, but it's not like on his property. I don't think, or it
Okay.
might be.
The zoo
I don't know.
he donates to.
Yeah, I just
they
know
let
that he is
shit.
involved. I don't think the zoo is his, but I believe he's involved with it. In some-
Right.
Oh yeah, fuck it. He's trying to give the kangaroo an invitation to the party, and he's like trying to reason with the kangaroo, and the kangaroo kicks him. And he's like, "Joe, what are you doing? More like traitor, Joe."
Wow. Wow. That's
yeah.
It was beautiful.
That's Matt Hardy.
It was a beautiful thing. The Godfather showed up, and he turned into Papa Shango, and they kidnapped the Hurricane, whoever the evil entity is. It was really dumb, and I loved it.
This is all amazing.
The Boogeyman was there.
The Boogeyman's been around though the last couple of years.
Has he?
Yeah, he was in the Rumble like 2 years ago.
Mm.
You don't remember that?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, he was in the Rumble. He was in the Rumble with Bray Wyatt, and it was like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's Bray Wyatt. Get it?
Oh, they had a weird off?
They're spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a weird off. I don't think it was shit. As much as you think it was shit, it's like, yeah, it was shit.
I don't remember. That might say enough.
I mean, to be fair, I think that was one of the recent Rumbles that was a bad year. Not that most of the Rumbles recently have been good years. This Rumble will be a good year. Maybe.
When is it?
It'll be a good year until Braun wins it again. Or not again. Did he win it last time? No, he didn't win it last time. No, he won the greatest Royal Rumble.
Didn't he win the Andre? No, that was
No.
What's his
He
face?
won the greatest. He won the greatest
Oh,
Royal Rumble.
yeah,
in
the
Kingdom of
the
Saudi
other
Arabia.
one.
Yeah, the other one. The much maligned one. And then he stood in the middle of the ring with the green
Man.
WWE belt that doesn't actually exist.
Fucking, they kept promoting Crown Jewel during the women's only pay-per-view.
It's great. That's totally respectful and not at all
Not at all horrible.
horrible at all.
no. I mean, nah. What?
Nah, WWE being insensitive? Nah.
What?
De-
Wait.
Deadpool, do you know what Crown Jewel is?
The upcoming Saudi Arabia pay-per-view
Yeah,
that they're
okay.
doing? Yes, I know.
You're paying
Yeah,
attention,
we think
thank
we've
you.
talked about
I pay attention to politics.
it a few times.
You know what? I'd say that's politics adjacent.
It is politics adjacent.
Yep, it absolutely fucking is.
God. Did you watch Evolution, Brennan?
No, I was late last night getting back from dinner, and then when I got back from dinner, I was not feeling great.
Here, I'm gonna.
Sorry.
To Red Dead.
I totally thought for a second there, Cali, that you meant fucking the movie.
Whoever references that David Duchovny, Orlando
Me!
Jones,
all the time.
almost
That is how I
Ghostbusters.
learned about what was in Head and Shoulders shampoo.
Like, I don't understand why they couldn't just have her.
Most of the matches were good. The beginning one with Trish and Lita was not.
Surprised?
It was bad. It was.
Yeah, it sounded like you guys were enjoying this one more than a lot.
It was
Like,
the NXT matches, like the one with Kairi Sane and Shayna What's Her Face, Shayna Blazer.
Like-
It was really good. Like,
I feel really bad for saying this, but like, since Roman Reigns, like just since that
No.
last one, it seems like people are already more.
No, well, the deal with this was that it's not related to that at all. The deal with this was just due to the fact that it was the first like all women's pay per view, and so
Oh, okay.
Like a
Yeah.
lot,
women's
a lot of people were positive about it overall because it's been long overdue, and also the fact that they were able to just kill it.
Yeah, the matches were good in general. Like that, I was not expecting Charlotte Flair versus Becky to be good, but it was like an ECW match, man. It was fucking ridiculous.
You didn't expect those two that put on an amazing show at NXT to be good.
Yeah, it's astounding to me that Roman has been suffering from leukemia this whole time.
Well, yeah, he suffered from it.
Well, it might be a relapse or something. I don't know.
Relapse. No, he had it before. Like it was known that he had it before.
I really, like
Yeah.
publicly, I'd never heard anything.
Also, I've been following the Becky and Charlotte thing just through like the Becky turning heel and
Quote unquote heel.
yeah, like she came out and the crowd was chanting her name literally.
Yeah.
It was
Well, I mean,
wonderful.
when you try to force a paradigm and not let it happen naturally, I don't know what to tell you.
I feel like Vince doesn't know how not to force things.
No, Vince is terrible at that. That's why we're having a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia next week, or is it the week after?
I don't know. I'm not watching that.
Oh, I'm not watching it either.
I feel like the numbers on that one are going to be a bit low.
I mean, I thought I canceled my subscription.
I really don't want to watch. Taker needs to stop. Taker needs to stop.
It's time to stop.
It was time to stop 2-3 years ago. Like him losing should have been it. Like, okay, the streak is over.
Wait, he's back?
He's been back, dude.
Didn't he give up his title? That was the last thing I heard.
Well, he didn't have like a title. It was just like he got
passed
beat.
on his name.
He
No, he didn't pass on his name. He just left his stuff in the ring, which people thought meant that
Yeah.
he was done.
Yeah, but no, it's just like, oh, we're doing let's do a pay-per-view in Australia. People know the Undertaker.
Let's do a pay-per-view in Australia and act like it's 2000 all over again.
Hey, people, we're going to Saudi Arabia. They know the
We should
Undertaker.
act like it's 1999.
And Triple H and Shawn Michaels hit their DX again. Hey,
Yeah, that makes sense. In this PG era.
it
Didn't work the first time when they came back.
it's such a weird time when like we're enjoying the women's wrestling more than most of the men's wrestling.
I mean,
Or at
it
least
just
the
goes to show
booking.
How terrible! Yeah, it goes to show how terrible the booking has been. The booking's been abysmal. Like, you had this great fucking feud that you absolutely just left for dead. You have some of the best talent in their prime at the moment, and you're just
Doing man, they're like they brought Daniel Bryan back and
Like,
they're ruining.
Daniel Bryan should be he should be putting up everybody else on the roster. Like, put him in a program with AJ. Like, they're finally doing that. Put him in a fucking program with Shinsuke. Put him in a fucking program with everybody, because anybody that works with him instantly gets better. And like the thing is like you put him in an initial program with one of the fucking idiots that you then ended up firing. So you wasted 3 months of what's left of Daniel Bryan's career having him wrestle a fucking idiot that you fired. Like, do the right thing.
The whole
It's
thing,
not that fucking hard.
like that whole thing they've been doing with him and the Miz was good until they brought fucking Nikki Bella.
Until they brought the women into it, and they had no reason to.
No reason whatsoever.
No reason.
It's
Hey, Donut.
donuts.
Yeah, there was absolutely no reason for them to do that. It turned like when I saw that happen, that's why I stopped watching. I haven't watched a single WWE program since. Actually, no, I lied. I watched no. I watched 5 minutes of SmackDown 1000.
No, I know how you feel, Brennan, because that's
Because
me
I
and
was-
Marvel. That's
I
me
watched-
and Marvel so fucking
No.
hard.
I watched the first 5 minutes of SmackDown 1000 because I was in a hotel room with Kathy and I was feeling absolutely miserable in Florida because of all the walking that we did.
Oh yeah. I
Like that's why.
I don't watch the weekly stuff. I didn't see SmackDown. I literally just watch the pay-per-views because they do the video packages, so I don't need to.
Yeah. No, I know. I don't need to. Yeah, you can just watch the video packages of the pay-per-views and just pirate the pay-per-views so you don't give WWE any money.
Yeah. That's the best way to be a fan, right?
Fuck them.
Hashtag fuck 'em.
I mean, they aren't going to release the Face Fuck Me Finn shirt, so I'm not buying a t-shirt.
Then what good is a merch for?
I know. I don't know why I live on this planet anymore.
This is my favorite picture.
It's actually probably one of the funniest pictures in recent history of wrestling, for sure.
Man, there's literally a freaking store here called Rise Up, and I'm just like,
What?
Why is it called Rise Up?
Is it a gamer store?
I think it's a vape store.
That's probably a vape store. That makes sense.
Why is it called Rise Up?
I don't know.
Because it is.
I don't get the with vaping. I like gaming, sure.
Look,
memes,
smoke
whatever.
So-
rises. Oh, it's a place to get acai bowls.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Does
no,
it?
Also, like, no. So also the other thing too is that vapers feel like they are an oppressed class, and constantly talk about it in all of their magazines and stuff. And it's so much of the fact it's actually funny because it actually kind of proved true in Florida. So there's a ballot initiative in Florida. It's like literally vote yes if you approve of vaping in public spaces, like to make legal vaping in public spaces and banning offshore drilling in the same fucking no like the same proposition. It's like Proposition 7.
No one's going to vote for that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like the vapers are like, we're an oppressed class because this happened. Look at this, it's evidence. See?
Vote yes if you love big boobs and smashing the proletariat.
Yeah, like it's like flawed. Like this is like
Vote yes.
welcome. This is America. Welcome to democracy.
Vote
Everybody
yes
gets a little fucked.
on drugs, but also vote.
I smoke vape. Okay,
Alrighty.
cool. Let's get going. Hello, everybody. What Deadpool?
Hi.
I want to talk
Hello?
about vaping more.
You guys suck. Hello, everybody. Brennan
Hi,
here.
how's it going?
And welcome to the, remember, no hyperbole, episode of the VGZ podcast. This is episode 6 of season 4. Brennan here. Hello!
Hello!
Sorry, doing my OSW review impression.
I'm doing Monty Python.
Oh, well, I mean, that's what they got it from,
Okay.
I think. Or Mrs. Doubtfire.
That, you know what? Yes, that's also from
that's-
that.
Actually, that's what that's from originally, because the episode that they did that, they cut to that scene in Mrs. Doubtfire, which is pretty funny. Anyways, Brennan here. And I'm joined this evening by the ever illustrious Cali
Welcome to the shit show.
and Deadpool.
It surely is a shit.
And Donut is streaming for us this evening. Thank you for the streams, Donut. He will
Thank
be silent,
you, Donut.
but we
Thank.
appreciate you and thank you a lot. So, I hope everyone has had a good week. I apologize for the Monday podcast. We had there's some wrestling going on yesterday, and overall it felt like a bad day to do a podcast. So we are doing podcasts today. So I'm just going to get right into it. Deadpool, since you were so excited about playing video games this week, I'm going to go with you after Cali. Cali, what did you play this week?
I have basically I barely played. I played a lot of Solitarica. Okay, I've been playing Solitarica nonstop.
What is
It's a solitaire roguelike.
Where is this? Is this on your phone?
And
Yes.
on phones and Steam. Like
Solitarica?
Solitarica. It is
Solitarica.
Solitarica. It is. So I don't know how to explain it other than like it's a roguelike based on solitaire. Like you play solitaire and like there's 4 like elements of cards and you
The elements of harmony, of course.
there's classes, like you literally there's different decks, like the basic class is warrior and then there's bard and wizard. There's you play as a different deck, and like the deck you play as gives you primarily different elements. And I have been playing the shit out of that game. I have beaten it with every deck on normal, and epic difficulty is bullshit.
I mean, that's every game, right?
Becau-
I'm sure they have microtransactions that you can pay.
No. Like you can either pay $4 for the whole thing on phones, or just buy each deck for $1.
Okay.
If you pay the full 4, like there's five or six decks, and if you just pay the $4 to unlock it, and you get all the decks and like double money. That's about it. But
okay.
beyond that, yeah, no, there's no microtransactions or anything.
Neat.
And I've basically been playing that and Pokemon Go, and I'll talk about Pokemon Go later.
Oh
Yeah,
I got
in the
tons of
Pokemon Go minute.
there too.
Yeah, no, I always love me some good twists on Solitaire. I don't know if anybody remembers the 3DS classic Pocket Card Jockey.
Yeah, I do.
That was great.
I do.
love that game. I wish they would bring that game to the Switch.
I've literally been. I have 3 different Solitaire games on my phone right now. I have I have Windows Solitaire on my phone with Xbox achievements.
Nice.
And I have Solitairica, and I have just random ass free to play Solitaire. Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, I'm gonna go next because Deadpool is a bitch. No, I'm
Damn.
just kidding. Deadpool, go ahead.
It's all right. I've been fucking dunked on. Go ahead.
No. Seriously, what have you been playing this week? I'm sorry.
Please go. My brain
killed
came
him.
Back together as you're
Okay,
talking.
go ahead. No, that's fine. I'll go ahead and then I'll let you go.
Yes, please do.
So I, of course, as it came out on Thursday night, played the fun game of PS4 installing.
Ah, yes, I remember fun game PS4 installing.
How much data is on that disc?
100 gigs.
So it's 2 Blu-rays.
Yeah.
It comes with an install Blu-ray and a play Blu-ray. Play Blu-ray? That's an easy one.
Play Baloo.
Play Blu-ray. So anyways, that was a thing. So that took a while to download, but finally it installed, and it's definitely my leading candidate for game of the year. It's definitely my game of the year, and I don't think there's going to be anything else coming out this year. And it is probably my top nominee for game of the decade. I know we're in 2018 right now. We have 2 years left, but holy fuck. Like you know how the whole story that came out right before was all about how people were spending like 100 hours of labor a week fucking making the damn game.
It shows.
It shows because the amount of fucking detail they put into this goddamn game makes historical movies look bad. Just the littlest of details, like when you're robbing somebody's house and you're actually looking through all the cabinets in the house, and you find a jar of fucking pickles, and you can read the label on the jar of fucking pickles while standing there pondering your existence. It's just insane. I knew it was going to be a good game. It's the sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. I was not prepared for just the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that is clearly put into this game, and it shows so well. And I mean, it sucks that it, we didn't have it on the queue to talk about it because it's not really our place to talk about when it comes to that sort of stuff. But I feel for those people as somebody who has worked in a industry that also
doesn't give a shit about you.
Doesn't give a shit about me as a person, and crunch is not an abnormal thing in the IT industry either. Ask anybody who's ever been on call as an IT person. Yeah. So I feel for them. At the same time, I understand their pain, but also at the same time, the game is damn good. And if you don't have a PS4 or an Xbox, you're gonna have to wait very impatiently for the PC release that'll hopefully come. But fucking pick it up right away because the damn game is as good as everybody says it is.
My favorite thing that I've seen so far is the different ways in which people can run into things with their horse and fly off.
Oh, never mind. Okay, we're good. Sorry.
Yeah, no, people flying off horses is fun. The one thing that I've seen video of and I actually experienced it is one of the random occurrences in the game where the dude is picking at something in a horse's horseshoe, and then he gets kicked the fuck out.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me in a different place than the videos I've seen, so that was kind of neat. And the horse was a different color, and like, so they made it like it's obvious, like, you know, obviously that's a scripted event, but like the amount of little bit of detail that they put in it to make sure it doesn't look the same as everybody else's event is pretty cool. Because like it's a dude, I think it's a dude every time, but he's dressed a little bit differently. The horse is a little different. It's in a different location. If you don't say anything to him, he talks to the horse for like a few seconds before getting kicked. If you say something to him immediately, he looks at you and then gets kicked in the back of the head. Like there's just little bits of details to the scripting that they did for it that makes it feel like special in its own way, because you're not experiencing it the same as somebody else.
There could be many unfortunate horseshoers.
Yes, but the thing is like that was a risk you ran with horses in the West, in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
If your horse kicked you in the fucking head, you were probably dead. Even if you survived the horse kick in the head somehow, you were probably just going to bleed out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But yeah, so the game is like just I would be playing it right now if I wasn't doing the podcast. I was planning on playing it today at some point. I'll probably play it after the podcast tonight because I am 25% through the story. I spent probably about 20 hours so far in it, just because I've been doing all sorts of random shit.
So you've been mainlining it, basically.
I've been mainlining it, but I've also been doing all the side quests. Like, I have not been just going through...
Yeah, but like, I know people who are not even...
Oh, yeah,
the story.
I didn't... One thing I know, like, my brother... I've been texting with my brother back and forth because he picked it up.
Yeah.
And he isn't past the first... I guess the second chapter of the game yet.
Right.
I just got to the third chapter last night. No, I got to the third chapter yesterday afternoon. And it's because he's been hunting. Because the fucking hunting in the game is amazing too. And like one of the big things, and it's one of the biggest things that stuck out to me so far, is that money is not as easy to come by as it is in the other Grand Theft Auto games or the other Rockstar games in general. You know, like the one problem we always run into with like a Grand Theft Auto is you get to a point in the game where you have $1 million fucking dollars and it doesn't matter what happens to you because it doesn't matter. You fucking have $1 billion. You can go buy whatever fucking car you want in the game. It doesn't matter. So far, I've had a fluctuating amount of cash on my person. One of the key components of the game is donating money to the camp to make the camp better. Camp is sort of your home. I won't go into too much detail with it.
I do have a question about that.
Sure.
How annoying is the upkeep with that?
Oh, it's not that bad. I haven't run into anything. Where it made me feel like there was an issue.
Is it on the level of like keeping up with your hunger and thirst in a survival game or something like that?
No, I haven't. So you can't die, as far as I can tell. You can't like die of hunger or thirst. Or there's no thirst; it's die of just hunger, basically. You have 3 bars basically. You have your health, which also is a core. So there's the core, and then there's like the health bar. There's a stamina core and a stamina bar, and then there's a deadeye core and a deadeye bar.
The picture in the middle is your core, right? And then,
exactly.
Okay.
So you have to eat to not lose a shit ton of weight, because it's kind of like the San Andreas style of weight management, where if you eat too much, you actually get fat. But if you don't eat enough, you get too skinny. You eat food. You can eat food, and food gives you the benefit of like raising your cores in total. But you can also drink tonics, which just raises the bars. Like tonics are like health, like quick potions, whereas food is like a hard health potion. If that makes sense.
Like this beer I'm drinking.
Thinking of it like Minecraft works out. So
it's actually pretty great. It also you can tell how far along you are. Like you can actually if you go into the options menu, press the start menu, you go to player, and then you can actually find out what your actual percentage is and how far you will go until you sort of run out of like juice, basically. So you can see that, so you're not guessing, but you can also just not do that. Like you can do without it.
Yeah.
But I mean, as long as you like I've basically, you know, every couple of days in game, I've made sure to gone back to camp, because there's a pot of stew always at camp, and there's a bed you can sleep in at camp. So I always go back to camp to do those things, and then when I go back, you talk to the people around the camp, you find some new missions to do. Like, it's actually pretty natural if you just play the game as they intend, essentially. The game just feels natural. Like, you want to go back to the camp because you want to see what the cool interactions are with the people that, your character has that sort of rapport with.
Yeah, no, I saw a mission with the lady who was doing the cooking, or at least getting yelled at about it. And
Yep.
That was a neat mission. Like, you go out on the wagon, and it's a neat thing.
Yes. I as I said, there are a lot of things I love about it, and very little I have run into at this point that I don't care for. The only negative I can think of at this point. No, I'm trying to be fair.
No. I thought you were just gonna be like the Irish. That's what it was. I'm awful. I'm sorry.
Anyways,
I mean, to be fair, the first gang that you have to fucking deal with are the O'Driscolls, which is definitely an Irish gang, and they fucking kept killing me. I died to 4 or 5 fucking ambushes because it just come up on the road, and then all of a sudden 5 of them appear out of the fucking woods and just shooting to death.
Sounds right.
Dirty Irish woodsman.
It's actually, funnily enough, one of those things that it actually is kind of true. But no, I think that's the one thing, and I think it plays a bit into the game overall that Arthur, your main character, is not invincible. He's going to die. The game is actually kind of hard. There are some gunfights where I've had a gunfight for an extended period of time and I felt perfectly fine, and then there'll be a gunfight like that where fucking 3 dudes pop out of the fucking woods and start shooting at me and I just die.
Yeah, I know it's pretty easy to get teamed up on, I've noticed.
If you're not in a mission, I think they kind of did a little thing. They did a little bit of a trick where they make your mission a little less volatile, your missions. And I think that's good. I think doing the important story stuff is important to the game because it's telling a story. It's telling a pretty involved story. Whereas, if you're out in the fucking woods, fuck you, you die, whatever. I've died to 2 or 3 small groups of wolves because I forgot to take my shotgun with me off my horse. Which is actually another cool thing. The whole dynamic of your horse is your backpack and your guns are on your horse. So if you forget to take a gun with you, you only have your pistols, and your pistols suck against most wildlife.
Yeah,
it's actually once again, it's a minor detail and you don't think about it, but it's actually a really cool concept that they just interwove into the gameplay very simply. All right, so I'm going to stop ranting about Red Dead, and let's go on to this week's releases. No, I'm just kidding.
No!
What have you been playing this week, Deadpool?
Oh, jeez.
It's a good bit.
Return of Obra Dinn came out the other day.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Yeah, I played the free demo of that 2 years ago.
See, you had played it. I had never even seen anything for it. I just saw the image and, it's the Papers, Please dev. Yeah, I'm all over that shit.
Yeah, I knew the Papers, Please guy was making a new game. I haven't...
It's such a weird thing.
I mean, Papers, Please was weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Just
Deadpool.
So, all right. So, I'm not going to get into spoilers. I'm not even going to touch spoilers. But what has been described already is you are an insurance agent. The ship is called the Obra Dinn. It's the year 1803. The ship has been missing for 6 years.
Okay.
And it just suddenly shows up off the
off the starboard bow. Yeah.
Off the British coast, and you're working for the East Indian Trading Company. And you're told to go check it out. And the insurance part of it is what happened to the crew, because when they came back, only one person on the crew was left alive.
Yeah.
And so you have to find out where's the crew, what the fuck happened. And now the interesting thing of this is the last game he made. So I looked up the dev because I had never really looked him up before, except for when I played Papers, Please, and that was fucking 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Been a while.
And he was outside your house.
So he actually worked on Uncharted. 1, 2, and 3, which I had no idea about. And then I guess either because when did 3 come out?
3 was the last one released on the
PS3. Yeah.
So it was quite in the later years of the PS3.
So that was 2012 then?
Probably.
Yeah, probably somewhere around like 2010 to 2012, somewhere in that range.
He left that studio and he was Donut knows all this already, but I'm just saying it because this is my personal. This all ties into the game. Because so like he was.
Does?
Yeah, no, well, the fact that he had already had experience with game engines that were not just 2D, and really good game engines that were not just 2D.
Sure.
And so like he did the game Ludum, what is it called?
Ludum Dare.
Ludum Dare.
Ludum Dare, thank you. He was part of that, and that's where he thought of the idea for Papers, Please. And then after Papers, Please, he did another one of those game jams. Yeah, one of the game jams, and that's where he thought up the idea for Obra Dinn.
Okay.
And he did all the ports himself for Papers, Please, by the way. All of them. So there's the Mac and Linux port. He made that, and he also did the port for the iPad. Personally, he didn't like give that to a publisher or anything.
I didn't even know there was an iPad version.
Yeah, he did those ports himself, and then in 2017 he released a PS Vita port.
The man is dedicated.
PS Vita port, yes, and I guess he had
somebody to help him with the Vita port because I'm sure he probably did. There's a company that does Vita ports, like that's
apparently no, he did this himself too.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because he has, as I said, that's why it ties into this, because he has the context of Sony because of working at Uncharted.
Sure.
So it was all like lining up in my head, and then I started playing Obra Dinn. I tuned into the Giant Bomb video. They did a quick look on it. I watched about 30 seconds, and I was like, "Oh, spoilers! Shit, can't watch this anymore." Because they start talking about it a bit too much for my taste.
Mm-hmm.
How far are you in?
I have. See, that's.
How? Okay, look, it's a detective game.
Yes.
And you find out how people died.
Yes.
So I have a question. How many people have you encountered?
Dead. How many dead people have you encountered?
All of them. I have encountered all of them.
Oh.
I have not figured out how all of them have died and who is who.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how many people have you figured out?
I think I got up to 20.
Yeah, you're a decent. You've played a good amount.
That was 4 hours.
I like the concept, but also it is the most detective game.
It is so detective game.
You are the detective, and you go find out the facts, and you deduce what happened using those facts. That is the game.
You guys have played Papers, Please. You guys have all played Papers, Please, yes?
I have watched many people play it.
There are runs. So there are also runs of this. So I have done a complete run with only 20 succeeded. And that isn't the complete ending, but it gives you an ending.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And it lets you see everything that happened. So I know everything that, well, I know almost everything that happened. There's something else, apparently, that I haven't gotten to yet. But I know everything that happened. Some of the names and some of the faces, I don't have all the information yet, and it's very simple controls. It is...
Yeah, it's first person.
It's move around.
Okay.
It's action key.
Okay.
It's look, and it's bring up notebook.
And press F to pay your respects.
And then, like, there's a bunch of hotkeys to flip to different pages. But
Okay.
essentially, it's flip to notebook is the last button. And I really appreciate a first-person game in which everything you interact with, your hand moves to it and holds on to it to let you know you can interact with it. And if you look away hard enough, it will then let go and move with you, like a realistic hand would.
Okay, kind of like a VR game.
Yes, it could be a VR game. It could be a VR game.
It sounds pretty cool. It sounds like there's a lot of really cool detail to it.
It's
Yeah, one of my favorite things is like it has the original Game Boy Color palette, and
you can
like
change those.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like there's different visual filters for like obscure British computers.
There's IBM, there's Mac, Apple II, there's Apple II is the default.
There was a Hitachi one. Yeah,
there's a Hitachi one. It's essentially all the different color filters from that time period.
It's pretty cool.
Know?
It's so very specific. Like the filters literally say their names.
Nice.
And
If
wasn't the difficulty selection like the right one was the one that it starts on?
There's no difficulty.
Or what
there's
was it?
Mouse settings.
Oh, mouse settings. Yeah, it was just
the
like
mouse settings are
like the one it defaults
this
to
is
is like
perfect.
perfect, and then less than perfect, more than perfect.
yes. It's
It's such a labor of love.
I will
Clearly.
text something to Donut because I don't want to reveal spoilers about the game, because it's been one of the, just like Papers, Please surprised me with what it did. It's been refreshingly exciting experience to be playing this and to just be like, how did he pull this off?
Neat.
It's
That's really cool.
Working on it for quite a few years. That's what it sounds like.
Labor of love.
Because I remember like it had to be like 2 years ago. It was like, here's this prototype, and it was like the first one or two dudes that you find, and it was like, all right, I'll be making this eventually. And now it's finally a thing.
That I know what you're talking about now, Cali. That he went so much further beyond on that, and like just that first scene was great, you know. But like,
Yeah.
So okay, so just it's a ship, right?
Yeah.
It's a ship. The whole thing is on a ship. The different decks are locked off, and you have to investigate different deaths to unlock the rest of the ship, so you can't just blast through it, which is why I said it took me 4 hours to get through my first playthrough, because I had to figure out what do I have to find that lets me get to the next area.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
I got stuck for like an hour on one thing, but
It's like people say a game is like unconventional. I think this really falls under like a game you don't expect. Like I get the same feeling from this as I did Her Story, of just like, this is such a fucking weird thing as a video game, and
this is, and
I appreciate it.
Her Story was definitely a different type of thing, but I would put that almost more in like a visual novel kind of thing, whereas there is gameplay here. You have to think.
Well,
hard.
okay, Her Story, I got that same like, here's this thing, go investigate. That was what Her Story was to me. Is like, no, I'm going to lay all this out for you, figure it out.
Yeah, I'd say this is almost like, in comparison to Her Story, this is
more of a video game.
More open-ended for sure. So I can't believe he went from Papers, Please to this, and if he goes and makes another game in the future, it's just going to be fucking Minecraft investigation mode. So that was my week. That was Obra Dinn, the week. Neat. I also got Starlink. I haven't tried it yet, but
Which system?
Switch.
Okay, that's the one. I feel like there's no reason to get any non-Switch version.
Correct. It's literally a Switch game that they ported to the other consoles.
It's
like
nice that it's on other consoles. That's it. It's kind of like
nice to
Doom
have.
on Switch.
Because
nice that it's on Switch.
They originally announced it on PS4, just like, hey, here's this thing you plug into the DualShock. Here's a neat little transforming ship, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's a little late for all this, but okay. And then they announced the Star Fox stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, people are only gonna buy that version.
Yep. Yeah. Even for what I've played, because I wasn't even interested in it, because I was like, oh, toys for life game,
Mm-hmm.
which just tells you how dead that franchise kind of thing is.
Yep.
Yeah, those
Well,
sections in stores have been replaced with just Switch stuff.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is
so-
what happened to Rock Band and all them. Like Rock
Oh,
Band.
yeah.
took up
Oh,
few shelves, and now it takes up 0 because it's gone.
yeah, we have a
Killed
thing to
it.
talk about Rock Band later, but
I have not. Okay, I've been trying to find a Rock Band drum kit since I moved back here, and that has proved rather difficult.
Impossible.
They're all in
Yeah.
a fucking landfill somewhere.
Yeah.
Right next to the adventure
Nobody in a flea market, no pawn shops. I have been looking.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have watched anybody played Starlink.
No,
The toy version is objectively the worst version to play.
Which version?
Playing with the actual toy of Starlink is the worst version.
like switching out the
worst
parts,
quality.
or
Yeah, it's awful. They made a digital version of it, like because they realized halfway through development that oh, that's a bad,
We're never going to be able to get these fucking toys sold. And
no,
they're never
so,
going to
so
stock them anymore.
halfway through development, they made a digital version of it that is just outright superior.
Ha! Get fucked. That's great.
And if you buy the digital deluxe edition, you get all of the toy parts. So you never need the toys, and playing with the toy on Switch is the worst.
Awesome. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on. Because there are games to talk about.
There's so much else to talk
There's a
about.
lot coming out this week, which is actually really funny because like last week was a big week. This week is not necessarily a big week, but there is a lot this week. Lots of Hasbro Switch games. You have your Risk and your Trivial Pursuit Live and your Hasbro Game Night for Nintendo Switch, which is literally
yeah, we've had a version of that on every console.
Yep, I'm not surprised. But yeah, so those come out this week, and a bunch of other Switch games too. Mutant Football League Dynasty Edition, which I believe is that the remake of? Did that come out already, or is that more recent? I thought that came out already.
I've never even heard of this version.
It's a Mutant Football League remake. It's been on Windows for a year, and it released for the PS4 and Xbox One earlier this year. And it comes out for the Switch this year.
Yeah, we all forgot about it.
Yeah, we all forgot about it. But
Yeah,
it's a spiritual successor to the EA Sports game of the same name. It's like $20, I think. Maybe it's 30. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's 30.
Yeah, it's minorly interesting. Anyways, actual interesting games coming out this week. The Lego Harry Potter collection, which I know Deadpool posted on here.
For the Switch and Xbox One.
Yeah,
I
Switch
did
and
not,
Xbox One.
actually. I don't know
No.
who did all those, but
Oh, okay.
I appreciate whoever did that one because yes, I'd like to get it on my Switch.
Sure. And then also coming out this week, which I am very excited about, Taiko no Tatsujin, the PS4 version, which is called Drum Session, and the Switch version, which is called Drum and Fun, both released officially in the West on November 2nd, which is Friday,
Mhm.
which is Friday.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. I have my drum ready. I've been waiting. I was going to pick it up on the Asian eShop, but I decided that I would just be patient and wait for the US release to buy it in the US so I could show my support for the game. Also, coming out on the 2nd is Diablo 3 for the Switch, the Diablo 3 port for the Switch, as well as BlizzCon is this weekend. So expect things. I'm assuming this will be poorly reviewed because it doesn't look all that great from the videos I've seen. Like, I'm interested because
Are you $60 interested?
no, I am not $60 interested. As someone who has bought Diablo 3 on PC along with the expansion, or well, not the expansion, the DLC, and the Eternal Evil, I believe it was called, edition that was on the PS4.
Yep.
Which I actually like a lot. I think they made the console version of it great. It plays really well. So I would expect that to be also very well played on the Switch. But I'm not $60 excited to play it, even with Mario fucking or Ganondorf armor or whatever the fuck they're throwing in.
It seems so incredibly tone deaf at that price point, but whatever.
Can we talk about there's this game coming out on Wednesday called Orphan. It
Oh,
looks really interesting. It looks like what if Limbo were sci-fi?
Is it
Cool.
based off of the PS2 game of the same name?
No. This
Oh.
it literally looks like Limbo, like with the silhouettes and everything, but like
Oh.
but sci-fi. Like it little boy running through darkness, but also he has a fucking laser gun, whatever. But it also this looks interesting. I think I might check this out.
I just looked it up. I don't know the developer or the publisher. Anything about them at all.
Neat. That's always fun. I love it when stuff like that happens.
I don't know. I'm looking at the trailer and like this seems intriguing. I might check that out.
I swore there was a game on the PS2 called Orphan, but it's not spelled the same way.
Yeah, or Orphan with an E.
PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the E, which was a terrible RPG, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it was
Okay.
the RPG. It
That
wasn't
that
terrible.
that
It
dude that
wasn't
looks like
terrible.
he's from G Gundam. Yeah.
It's published by Activision back in 2000. I thought it was a port of that, and I was going to be very surprised. Gesundheit, by the way. Also coming out this week, which is of note, is The Quiet Man.
It's such a weird thing. Like
If you
I've
haven't
watched a
heard
lot
about
of
it-
I've watched a lot of gameplay of that game, and it's such like how did this get made in 2018 by Square Enix? Like,
Well,
it's such a
wasn't-
weird thing.
it wasn't made by Square. It's
Well,
published by Square.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, it's made by
it's full of FMV.
yes.
There's almost no sound in the game.
Yep.
It's such a fucking. It's another one of those games. I'm just like, I have to play this because I have to know. Like
Sorry, what game?
The Quiet Man. You play as a deaf guy, and
Oh
like
yeah, that looks fun.
I don't know if fun is the word I'd
Alright.
use.
So what I'm going to suggest is you go back and look at the stuff that was talked about during PAX East this year,
Mhm.
or PAX West this year. Sorry, it was PAX Prime. Go and look up Giant Bomb's, or not Giant Bomb. Who did it? It was the dude
Waypoint.
from Waypoint. Yeah, it was the guy who was previous Giant Bomb. I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah,
Was it
Patrick. Yeah.
Patrick. He
I listened
did
to
a
him
whole
talk
thing
about
about
it.
it. And they talked about it on the Giant Bomb cast that they did immediately after PAX as well. I strongly suggest you look up that.
He did not
because
like it.
It
No.
is something. It is something else. I think is the way to put it.
Basically, he was standing there playing it and like getting trophies, and he was just like, "I think I'm playing through the game."
He
and-
played an hour of the game
on the show floor.
on the show floor because it wasn't a demo. It was the game.
Oh, honey, you don't. do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so actually, I looked into it real quick, and I remembered why this was familiar. The company that is making this game, that developed this game, is Human Head.
Yeah.
The creators of the original Prey,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and also Dead Man's Hand,
I don't know.
and Rune. Dead Man's Hand was a first person.
Isn't that the
Wild
card
West
game in Red
shooter.
Dead?
No, that's the card game in Red Dead is poker, but the Dead Man's Hand is the Aces and
I
Eights.
was
Uh,
trying a funny.
It was
Also,
miserable. It was not a good shooter. They also apparently they had some work on the Defiance game,
Yeah.
the Tryon game. So they've been around. I mean, they also made Rune, which was a shooter where you were a Viking god
uh-huh.
and you like hit people with hammers. That was published by Gathering of Developers.
Isn't that just Too Human?
God. Yes, but it wasn't Too Human. But yes. But yeah, so yeah, so that comes out this week. And then finally, to wrap it all up, a game that doesn't actually come out this week, but the beta is this week. Fallout 76's beta starts. Technically started yesterday, according to this.
On Xbox, yeah.
Well, yeah, this says actually it started. That's weird. Anyways, it starts tomorrow. Sorry, I can't speak. Starts tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. West Coast. So I will probably be playing it because I did pre-download it. I did have a beta code from Amazon because I pre-ordered the Super Duper edition with the fucking helmet because I want that fucking helmet. But I might cancel my pre-order considering the game.
And
quality is
that's
generally
just
not been great.
that thing is just not what I'm looking for out of Fallout.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of my thoughts as well. I watched I forget who it was. I think it was Polygon. I think I watched the dude from Polygon, and they had the recorded footage they did of a beta test play that they did with a bunch of media people. And I remember watching it and just thinking to myself, man, like this is it definitely looks like a Fallout game, but it definitely doesn't play like a Fallout game, and having a bunch of people in my Fallout game is not what I want out of a Fallout game. What I want out of a Fallout game is a world where I am there and nobody else is there.
Yeah,
like
is VATS a thing in that?
yes, in real time.
It is bad.
It's like well, no, it's not bad. It makes sense in a world where everybody is doing their things at the same time. It's essentially in real time, so you don't have slowdown, but it picks spots for you to shoot at and automatically shoots at those spots.
So it's just auto aim instead
It's
of
auto VATS, like auto
it's-
aim. It's VAT assisted shooting.
It's not even that. It's, do you want to click on an enemy to hit them, or do you want to just aim down sights and shoot them in the face?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is though, we have limited usage of it, just like you did in Fallout. So you can't use it all the time.
that's still
And it's
not
good.
what I'm looking for. That's
They should just remove the limited usage part of it, because
I think they should. Well, I don't think they
It's
should
real
remove the
time.
limited.
Well,
I don't
if
think
you-
they should remove the limited usage part of it. What I think they should do is they should probably not call the game Fallout. I'm interested to see how it plays. I think I want to give it a shot because this is sort of Bethesda's wanting to take a shot at something new, and I don't think that like the Fallout brand gets permanently damaged if they release a not great game, right? Like we're getting Fallout 5, it's coming out in probably 2030 at this point, considering all the other games they have planned. But we're gonna get a new Fallout game eventually. I think a lot of people are just pissed that they weren't able to turn around and make a Fallout 5 2 years after they released Fallout 4.
oh no, I don't think that's the problem.
No, I've seen people. I'm not saying you two think that. I've seen people post that. in
Oh,
response
those
to it.
people are idiots.
Dude, it's a large selling game. You're gonna have a bunch of idiots mixed in with the people.
If we
who
had
are
to
really
stop and
smart.
talk about every idiot in the world, nothing would get done, though.
Correct.
Like, my thing is more of, yeah, we're gonna get another Fallout, but before then, we're getting the space game and the Skyrim game. The next, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean we're in the space game and we're getting the next
Elder
Elder
Scrolls. Fuck.
Sure, but I mean we've like think of when thinking of Elder Scrolls and not of the thousands of ports that they've done of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
When did Skyrim
they,
come out?
they said that it's literally going to be on the same time frame between
Yeah,
Skyrim and Fallout 4. And Fallout 4 and this, it's all been 3 years. So we're not going to get another Elder Scrolls for 6 years, which means the next Fallout game we'll be getting is in 9 years. At the earliest.
I think that's probably true. Honestly,
It could change. It could change absolutely, but their current plans are
well, Starlink
going
is
to
supposed to
spend
come out, or
3
not Starlink. What's the game called? The Star game that they're making?
Star Base.
Star Base.
remember.
Stargate.
Yeah, I think it's Stargate.
Holy shit!
Don't die on us, Deadpool.
It's fine.
I forget what it's called. Star Ocean, Blood Ocean.
We're trying to summon the Stargates.
Yeah, I'm trying to summon the Stargate.
Okay,
I
yes,
don't remember what
yeah,
it's fucking called.
yeah.
Jesus, why can't I find it?
All right.
like
Fallout
Rage-
76 beta. Try it out,
Yeah.
people. See if you
Yeah,
like it.
Starfield.
Oh,
Starfield,
God.
that's what it's called. Yeah, so I'm gonna try it out. I might stream it, maybe if people are interested and want to watch it. I think Zen also has a beta key, so I'll let him take priority if he wants it. But yeah, I mean, I want to try it. As I said, I'm willing to let Bethesda take a shot. If it turns out poor, turns out poor. Lessons learned.
Oh
but-
shit!
I'm willing to give him a shot.
That's
What's
what I was gonna say. You guys were saying Fallout to you guys is you guys alone, and everybody else can fuck off. I don't
Yeah.
mind a cooperative Fallout, I do mind a Fallout in which there is nothing to do except be with other people.
Well, I think it's more than just be with other people, but
There's
quests.
no NPCs to interact.
No,
with.
but there are quests. There are quests.
There are no NPCs to interact with. That's my thing.
There are robots.
Yeah, that's not Fallout for me. Anyways,
Okay. Anyways, let's move on. This was I want to say a late news week is probably a good way to put it.
yeah, it picked up steam eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we had the Portland Retro Gaming Expo last week.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of last week, so that brought up some things, and we talked about Analog last week. This week, let's talk about Analog's bastard child, and by bastard child, I mean not related at all kid. I don't know what a word for that would be. I don't know. That game sucks, and they suck so much that they recently sent out review units of a console that was called the Bandai Namco Flashback Blast, which is part of their flashback series of things. I believe they called their like Genesis console, all-in-one console flashback, among other things.
Sega Genesis Flashback HD.
Yeah, which was a piece of
What?
shit. It was a piece of shit. Well, the reason why it was because it outputted to HDMI and you could use actual cartridges on it.
Yeah,
But it was shit.
they just
it was
shipped
really bad.
my store a new version of it, which all they did was up the price $10 and change the logos on it.
It's also still shit.
Yep.
Anyways, so apparently, so John Hancock is a pretty well-known retro gamer. He's done a YouTube thing. He collaborates a lot with like Metal Jesus and all them. They sent him a review copy of this new device called the Bandai Namco Flashback Blast. And he gave it a generally decent review because the version that he received had arcade versions of all of the games. All the games on this, meaning Pac-Man, Galaga, Dig Dug, and a few other Bandai Namco games. But then another smaller reviewer picked it up at Walmart because he was like, I'm going to do a review because, you know, it's an At Games thing. We do reviews. That's what, you know, the YouTubers do. And he thought it was a piece of shit. Because it is a piece of shit. Because in reality, the version that they shipped for some fucking reason only had NES ROMs in it. It's actually kind of peculiar. I don't understand how that happens. And the quotes from At Games, which At Games fucking like went off on people on Twitter because people were calling At Games a scam, rightfully so. At Games responded with the early review version, meaning the version they sent to a YouTuber to promote the product, could not make it to production even though it was anticipated it would. So the lead up time for like developing one of these shitty plastic consoles and getting it across the pond has to be longer than the amount of time that they would have sent this review copy to this person to do this review.
That totally is the NES version. What the fuck? I'm watching the video.
It's the fucking NES version. When if you watch John, I think John Hancock took down his original video.
I'm watching Mad Little Pixel. He's the guy that went and bought it.
I think John Hancock actually I think he deleted his YouTube. I don't know if he deleted it. Oh, he put a warning on his original video. But if you watch it, like if you watch his video, it's very clearly the arcade versions. And so yeah, the fucking At Games just started going off on people on Twitter because people are calling them a scam. With great quotes like, "You never heard of companies multi-tracking product development? There have been changes from earlier versions of products versus the retail release ? So you're saying we custom made a special project in hopes of deceiving people because we thought no one would notice a difference like that?
That sounds like exactly what they did.
You clearly don't wish to discuss things reasonably and don't wish for the company to help with whatever issue you might have, so I guess you'll just continue to make one-sided accusations." Which is an insane statement to say. The person made a video about the situation, showed footage of the fucking console doing what it wasn't supposed to be doing according to previous videos about it.
These pixels
and
are
then
too
you call
smooth.
that person a fucking liar.
Right.
This Galaga looks so bad.
So I have
It
a
is terrible.
question. on
Yeah.
the legal side of things here. How is Nintendo not fucking destroying this company right now?
They're not Nintendo games. They're just their Namco games.
Yes, I understand that. But
Nintendo
it's
doesn't.
the-
own
Yeah,
the
like the
license
a
to
big
all-
freaking.
Nintendo doesn't own the license to all the NES games. They
There-
own the licenses to the games they own. in
There's a
NES
big
games.
old copyright screen that comes up when you transition to a new game on this flashback thing.
It says, does it say Nintendo on it?
No, it just says Bandai Namco, and it says
Okay.
like copyright for every single game, even when you just play Pac-Man or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is like you know, Bandai Namco owns the rights to their games, even the variants that they publish on other platforms. Now,
Okay.
at this point, I'm sure that the whatever agreements they would have had to not develop or not put the same software on a different.
Also, if
platform.
you played a Bandai Namco game recently, very fond of the legalese, very fond of it, making you thumb through 2 of them before each fighting game.
And man, they lost the license to having loading screen games, and everything went downhill from there.
So that's the mini game. Is the the EULAs?
Yes, the mini game is now the EULA. You're welcome. But yeah, so at games already has been like in hot water because of like the terrible qualities of things like the Genesis HD. So much of the fact that Sega has pulled out of that agreement that they were having to make an HD / Genesis Mini that is no longer a at games project, but now is a Japanese company project, according to a report a couple of months back. I think it was before we started back up the podcast, which is good. I think at games is. I think that maybe not being a piece of shit to the people you're trying to sell products to is probably a good thing, and also not taking advantage of people is a good thing. Just saying. Yeah, so that was fun. Talking about going back to the past, flashing back, if you will,
Talk about the games that suck ass.
in television. Now, I was a little young for in television. Cali, I know you're a little bit older than me, but I think you were a little young for the in television as well, right?
Yeah, that's my first video game memory is being at my grandma's house and playing in television bowling.
Okay, but like that's it though. Like,
Yeah,
You
and
really have
I
a
don't
house growing up.
I don't exactly have fond memories of no.
okay, well, our generation sort of missed on in television. In recent history, I've seen collectors go after it and that sort of stuff. But generally, the Intellivision, it's regarded as one of the godfathers of the original consoles and all that, and this, that, and the other thing. How about a new console?
Why?
How do you feel about that?
Why?
Good question. Well, introducing the Intellivision Amico. Why? I don't know. Tommy Tallarico decided that he needed to make more money.
He's behind this?
Oh yeah, he is behind this. 100% behind this. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. No, he's 100% behind it. Along with a bunch of other there are actually some industry people behind this. It's not just a it is not just a bullshit thing.
I don't want them coming back.
But it doesn't make any sense. They're making a console. It's called the Amico. They say it's coming out in October of 2020, which is 2 years from now.
I'm watching the trailer for it. They
will
talk
be
about all
$150 to $180.
Whoa, what?
All games will be E for everyone or E10 plus, and all games must be exclusive on the console. Now, to be fair, they mean game versions, but they are implying that people will have the want to just put games on this console.
Yeah, you know what the video game market doesn't have right now?
And no DLC.
A strong company that has proprietary games on their console and only their console.
Aimed
with
at
a long history
families.
a long history of games behind them or something. I don't know. Maybe they're
And
named
aiming
after
at their
Nintendo.
families? Nintendo. But Nintendo, my friend at the bar. Nintendo.
Oh, the flaming Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, the flaming Nintendo. Thank you for the Simpsons.
What the fuck are they thinking?
I'm looking at the trailer for this Amico. All right, first thing to point out,
Yes.
they spend a minute straight talking about all the things Intellivision did first. The original one.
Oh,
Two,
right, yeah.
the picture in this trailer is a concept drawing.
Yep.
They haven't rendered a model yet.
Correct.
They're just spouting out buzzwords. Like,
No.
these are all things that video games have. They're like, hey, this thing is going to have achievements and USB ports and E for everyone. And I'm like,
Yep.
what? Reimagined game licenses. What the fuck does that mean?
This seems like a get-rich-quick scheme more than anything else.
So to be fair, they have said that they are not planning on kickstarting it, unlike the Atari box or any of those various scam consoles that have been trying to be made over the last couple of years. So
Atari Classics? What?
Yeah, well, I mean, Intellivision made some games for the Atari back in the day.
Oh. Yeah, video games were weird.
Yeah, video games were fucking weird. So, I mean, to be fair, they have said, they're not trying to, they're not trying to scam people, unlike some companies out there recently. So at least in that perspective, it's not the worst thing ever. I definitely, there are some crazy people behind this, crazy well-known,
Toe Jam and Earl. What?
Icons behind it. What'd you say?
They're naming off games that are going to put on this thing, and one, they brought up 10-Yard Fight, which is an NES football game, and this is just the NES box art in this trailer. And also Toe Jam and Earl? What?
I think Toe Jam and Earl. I think actually 10-Yard Fight actually was originally on the Intellivision.
No, it's very specifically the NES box art that they're showing.
I think
this is such a weird thing.
If I remember correctly.
Yep, there's Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah, Tommy Tallarico. It's weird. I'm not entirely sure. To tell you the truth. But yeah, it's a thing that happened.
Oh, I know who David Perry is.
Yeah, there's as I said, there are some names behind it.
You remember? There's another thing that had some name behind it. It was called Project Phoenix. You remember that?
Project Phoenix really have any names behind it?
It had a lot of Japanese RPG people behind it.
Yeah. Now I'm remembering what we're talking about. You're right. You're not wrong. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I think it's insane.
Yeah.
I hope
agree.
it works out for them, but at the same time, I couldn't care less. The problem is that the audience that remembers the Intellivision doesn't really play video games anymore.
I feel like the kind of people that are going to care about this kind of thing are the kind of people behind preservation, and they're not trying to make new video games or play new versions of Load Runner.
No, because if they were behind preservation, then they would be clamoring to get the entire back catalog on whatever classic console idea.
This specifically says they're remaking all these.
Yeah, that's not preservation though. Remaking a bunch of them is not preservation. Remaking them is remaking them.
Yeah, they want money, not for everyone to have the old games again. I want to make money off of a new thing that I own forever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
okay.
It's weird.
So I'm still watching they're showing off the people behind this, right? And they bring up this lady who's marketing and branding for Intellivision since 2010, and it shows off all the people she's worked for. When people say in wrestling, when they say 16-time champ, that just means you lost 15 times. So all I'm seeing for these companies here are just companies you used to work for, no longer work for, and now you're behind branding for Intellivision.
I mean, if you look into some of these people, they've been in the industry the entire time in some cases.
Oh, and a dude behind a television podcast. Okay. Just
I think
the
no,
names.
I'm just saying, like, if you look
whatever.
into some of them have been part of the industry, like, outside of Intellivision for a long time.
This is such a weird thing.
It is. It's really fucking weird. And I don't know how to comment on it other than, like, this is a thing that happened. I don't know how to comment on it. You know?
I will exclaim in disbelief. That I'll comment on it.
Fair. Fair. All right. Let's move on. So speaking of preservation, and preservation is important, right? Like, we can all agree on that. I can, at least. I don't know about anybody else. The Librarian of Congress. So the Library of Congress is allowed to make fair use exemptions for the DMCA, along with a bunch of other things related to specifically, like, they can't destroy laws, but they can carve things out with regards to, like, copyright and, like, what is fair use and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So basically, there's an 85-page Library of Congress document that talks about carving out fair use exemptions for the DMCA for video games and software, which is great. It is going to definitely help out, like, nonprofits and, like, the Museum of Play and groups like that. Which I think is great. I think that's really important, because I think those groups who have, you know, they're trying to preserve the history of gaming and interactive media in general, allowing them to do things like in 2015 they passed it so, like, museums and archives could break online authentication for single player games that were just phoning home to a server for copyright protection purposes.
Yeah.
So this extends those, but also allows for allowing archivists specifically to accept, like, abandoned multiplayer game server software. Now, to be fair, this doesn't mean, like, people could just start loading up private servers. But
Of abandoned properties, yes. Of everything, no.
right.
That's the whole point.
But to be fair, one note of this, the archivist in question do have to legally acquire server code, which is a problem. And also only for complete games, which is unfortunate because like betas and stuff like that had never existed, you know, or never existed in a sellable state.
Yeah, there's actually an exception in this writing of if the company doesn't exist and there's no current owners of it, you can almost just ignore that part of there has to be that. So.
Right. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, there's good in here. I mean, obviously it's not perfect. People are never going to be always happy.
Right.
But I think it's a good thing that, you know, the Library of Congress agrees that, you know, some things need to be able to be preserved. So that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's continue to move on to the exact opposite of preservation. Xbox Game Pass. What are our thoughts on Xbox Game Pass?
It's great if you have an Xbox.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's about
I
it.
agree. And I have it for Xbox, but coming soon. Some games apparently should be coming to PC.
Oh, is it some?
Well, they haven't announced specifically everything.
Yeah.
They just said they will be this was in a earnings call. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella announced that the game company would soon bring Xbox Games Pass functionality to Windows PCs, but did not detail any further than that.
Is my thing was I thought it was already on PC. I thought
So games that are
crossplay.
play anywhere titles
Yeah.
can work that way. One of my friends was playing Sea of Thieves that way, but there are a bunch of games on it that are also on PC, but you cannot do that with because they are not play anywhere games.
Right.
And it's a pain in the ass, if I recall correctly, to get it if you don't have an Xbox, essentially, because you have to do some weird things with like the Windows Shop, essentially, on PC, if I remember.
You know, I've never messed with the Windows Shop. Somehow, I've never had to.
Microsoft Shop is okay. It's all right. I'm not opposed. It works. I don't use it for anything, but it works. I used it to buy Sea of Thieves on PC because I bought Sea of Thieves hot release because I make poor decisions constantly.
Has anyone here played it
No.
since in the
What,
past
Sea of
like
Thieves?
2 months?
Nope, haven't touched it. Apparently, a lot of content's been added to the game. I should probably load it up at some point.
Is it a game yet?
It's
Yeah, there's
not a
NPC
game.
ships now.
Because I played a bunch of that pre-release.
I mean, there's no like overarching
Exactly.
game. It's kind of like Minecraft, where you just do.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Well,
I need structure.
I don't think it'll ever be for you then. I don't
Huh.
think they're ever going to give it like a proper structure, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And speaking of disappointment, no, I was actually speaking of bad ideas and terrible decisions. Let's get to our little quick stories. Devil May Cry 5. Who's excited for it?
Yeah.
Are you $5,000 to $8,000 excited for it?
No.
Oh, well then I have bad news.
That's a car.
Yes, you're right. And it's also Nero or Dante or V's coat.
I'm good.
In the Capcom store, they have an ultra limited edition of Devil May Cry 5, which contains accurate jackets of the Devil May 5 Cry characters. Like accurate recreations, I believe, with like actual leather and such.
This is okay. This is because it's straight from the source. Because you're paying, you are paying to get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yes,
I'm sure there's plenty of cosplay commission people out there that would be willing to do the same thing for a fraction of the price.
Yeah. Of note, as I said, the prices range from 600,000 to 900,000 yen, which is about $3,500 to $8,000 in the U.S. The prices do not include tax, which is 8%. So
Dollary dues.
Yeah, dollar dues. Sorry. You have to add an extra 425 to 638 as there's an 8% tax in Japan. The company store of Capcom, eCapcom, does not ship outside of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And all the coats are one size. But you can request whether Nero's sleeve is torn or not. So there's a plus there.
How much is that in yen? That's like 80,000.
Yen? That's 600 to 900,000.
Holy shit!
Remember that the conversion is about
Zero.
$1 to 100. So, so ultra limited edition.
For that much, it better come with the pleasure arm.
It does
Yeah.
come with the game in your choice of.
No, I want the
One or
vibrating rubber arm
No, it does not come with the dildo arm.
or the banana arm.
Also, as an aside, one thing that actually is gettable, which is actually kind of cool, is there is a on that website there actually is a Devil May Cry branded shirt, button-down shirt. Which actually looks kind of cool. It has the Devil May Cry logo over the left breast pocket.
It's like a bowling shirt.
Yeah, it's like a bowling shirt. That's actually kind of cool. The cost on that one is 11,852 yen, which, if my math serves me right, is about $140 ish. Right?
Hold on, how many yen?
11,852.
$105.
Yeah, so about $100. That's like a normal collector's edition in the U.S. So, kind of neat. That shirt's kind of neat.
Not $100 neat. Well, if you're getting the game,
if you're getting the game with it, it comes with the game for $100. Getting a cool shirt with the game. It's a $40 shirt.
Okay, yeah,
it's a $40 shirt.
I've paid damn near that much for a shirt.
Yes, I think most people have. Also, you get I think there's like 3 limited edition lithographs with it too. So you're getting like 3 cool pictures. So that's cool. I have no interest.
We are very excited here at VGZ for this news.
I'm not big on it, but it was one of those things that came up on my feed and I could not.
I also don't see the back of the shirt. I don't. If there's like a sick decal or something on the back, then maybe.
I think it's just
this isn't the death of games or anything. This is just
insane.
It's a thing. It's
definitely a thing. All right, let's continue. Who likes Fortnite? Epic Games? Anyone? Want to start?
Cali is interested in the Forts of the Knights.
I don't. It's
indirectly.
It's not so much an interest as it is a constant state
reminder.
He's literally playing right now next to me.
That's great. Well, speaking of them, surprisingly, they got more investment money.
Yeah.
1.25 billion dollars of investment money. The investment will, quote, create powerful partnerships with highly strategic investment firms and individuals at the forefront of technology, entertainment, professional sports, esports, and live events, according to the company. The 7 investors of the 1.
That's a lot of companies, yeah.
There's a lot of companies. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 investment companies. Those 7 investors will join Tencent, Disney, and Endeavor as minority shareholders in Epic, which continues to be controlled by founder and CEO Tim Sweeney, who has been around for
they're not a company anymore, man. Epic is a conglomerate. Well, no, wait. What is the opposite of a conglomerate? When something is owned by a million people, that's the opposite of a conglomerate.
No, the conglomerate is the company owns a bunch of smaller companies. They're, I don't know, a horror? Like that's
an oligarchy. There you go.
Oligarchy? Well, no.
Oh, a murder.
Murder.
A murder of companies.
That's a crow. That's crows, Cali.
That's. Listen, I'm trying to joke.
So, anyways, in 2012, for those of you who don't remember, in 2012, they were purchased, or 40% of Epic Games was purchased by Tencent, which Cliffy B left because of that, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, that ended up kicking a bunch of people out, and then they made Fortnite. So I don't know who got the worst of that, but I think it's pretty interesting that
everybody that doesn't work for Epic.
There's a lot of companies. There's a lot of fucking companies that now own a piece of the Fortnite pie, which is pretty insane.
You know what? It's such a weird. It's still weird. Because as somebody who's paid attention to games for a long time, yes. I remember when Fortnite was basically a meme. Like, is Fortnite a game? And then like it started to become the thing that is now the save the world part that they're still charging money for. And then all of a sudden they saw how popular PUBG was getting and then shit that out, and then boom, it's the most popular game in the world. It's fucking wild.
I mean, it's crazy what free games will get you.
It's preparation plus opportunity. They prepared by having a good engine that they know that they made themselves. Again, they could easily port into anything ever.
Being surrounded by it on a constant basis, I see what they're doing with the game, and I don't think any other game does the constant. Like, they do world building without having any lore. Like, there's just suddenly a giant purple cube, and like people who are playing in the game see the cube moving, and suddenly the cube melted into a lake, and now the lake is bouncy, and suddenly there's a portal above the lake. Like, this is exactly the shit that kids eat up. And these kids are also constantly playing this game, so they see the shit, so they're just constantly hooked. It's kind of insane.
What's interesting about all of this is, like, as somebody who followed Epic since I was old enough to fucking go online, you know, this is what they've always done. No one fucking cared in the past. Like, that's it. Is they've always done this kind of thing with their games of, like, let's just put stuff in there that's kind of like not much but just enough to tease people, and like it's just no one gave a shit before because, like, it's not Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that they finally release the Unreal Tournament remake they were making.
I can't wait until Fortnite comes out of beta.
No, you see, they learned from Warframe devs never to let something go out of beta.
No, they learned from PUBG not to let something come out of beta.
No, PUBG is 1.0 now, so they can.
No, PUBG is still in beta. I mean, they claim that it's 1.0. That shit's still beta. Anyways, speaking of something that's definitely not beta, because it's been around for fucking ever, but now it's back.
I'm an alpha.
$2 billion is a minority of their company.
I mean, they make a shit ton of money. Yeah, that's epic.
Right, bro?
Yeah, going on.
That's epic.
Sorry.
Hacha. Anyways, not a mystery to anybody, but it is a mystery game. Alan Wake back on Steam.
Yep.
Because they got the licensing done.
For music, it was specifically the music in the game. Like,
Yeah. Which is fucking ridiculous if you ask me.
I will take a complete game over what, like, GTA San Andreas has become, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, people should play Alan Wake. It's like, gameplay wise, it's a competent third-person shooter, but the entire game is a wonderful package of weird shit.
Right.
With the DLC. The DLC is very important, actually.
Right. Yeah, no, I've heard that the DLC is very important. And moving right along, and speaking of DLC, did Cali, I'm assuming you picked up Soul Calibur 6, right?
No. But I have been watching a lot of people. I have played it, and I have watched people play it. I have not purchased it yet.
Okay. I am in the same boat. But something you couldn't purchase even if you wanted to yet. Like, I'm just working on the segues, all right?
That's a good segue.
Character reveal from Square.
Yeah.
It's Titus. No, I mean, it's 2B from Nier Automata.
It's Laguna.
Laguna?
Final Fantasy VIII. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2B...
She apparently appears in, AD 1528 or whatever the fuck year it is in the universe of this.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. Technically, 2B was already in the game, because that was every other creative character.
Yes, obviously. But instead of making a creative character, now you actually just have the character. Coming soon, I guess.
With a bunch of, like, cool Nier-related creative character stuff, like Emil's head and stuff.
Her own stage and background music. And
she has a kind costume, too. That's weird.
I'm sure somebody will put a penis on her.
At some point.
I mean, that's just been what's happening on that creative character thing. So,
not as much as you think.
The best one.
It's more just like, here's Goku.
I've seen some great stuff. I will say
there's a lot of good stuff. There are less phalluses than you would expect.
Really, I'm actually kind of surprised by that.
Cause I've watched a few people just like sit there and go through the roulette
creative character thing.
Yeah, and just a lot of like, here's a lot of OCs.
Right.
A lot of butts.
Yeah. A lot of butts. Speaking of something that doesn't have butts.
Oh, damn. All right.
Look, everybody has a butt. Everything has a butt.
Right, but
Free the butts.
what about the Pope?
Pope has a butt.
Okay, well, you can now run around and catch people like Jesus.
Oh,
and
wow.
Look, you run around and collect saints, and
In the new game that Cali is going to probably start playing next week,
no,
JC Go. I kid you
no,
not.
because the problem with this game is that you have to answer trivia questions about these saints,
You
and
have Wikipedia.
Okay.
also it's right now it's just in Italian, so
Yeah, I'm imagining it's just in Italian. It is a version of Pokemon Go that literally the Vatican commissioned, which tasks you with collecting famous religious figures to join your team.
2 years later.
The Vatican is a bit slow on things. You might not have noticed. The Lutherans split off 1,000 years ago, and they're just now getting around to the idea of maybe our priests should marry.
I'm assuming that Jesus is probably a legendary, right? Like, you have to do a raid for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that would follow the lore that people, everybody groups up and
Jesus
takes
Lord.
them out.
Oh, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole.
You went
It's
there.
there.
I
We're
took
done.
it.
Well, speaking of Pokemon Go, Cali,
Oh, is it time?
I think it's time
I
before
think
we
we can
cover
get
the
there.
last two topics of the night.
All right.
Yeah.
So go ahead, hit us with the Calio trademarked Pokemon Go minute.
All right. Halloween event started last week. There's a bunch of new ghost Pokemon. The Balloon, who's probably one of my favorite like Pokemon lore-wise, Drifloon, because it just takes kids away.
Yeah,
It's like an evil fucking ghost, actually. Um,
evil balloon ghost.
yeah, it's wonderful. I like Pokedex entries for Pokemon. The lore they.
Yes.
There's a lot of evil Pokemon. All right, if you really
Great.
look into it.
Look into it.
Giratina is the new legendary. He's actually pretty easy to take down compared to Mewtwo. I don't know. Pokemon. I got a shiny Houndour and a shiny Roselia. That's cool.
Cool. That is cool. I've also been playing, and so has Kathy. Have you finished the spooky quest yet?
Yeah, I got my Spiritomb.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we are
It
almost
sucks.
there.
The one I got sucks.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, the one problem we had was we've hit most of the Pokestops in our area.
Yeah.
And find 8 Pokestops you haven't stopped at quest is fucking bullshit.
I had to go downtown and just kind of wander around for that one.
Yeah, so me and Kathy on Friday we're gonna go visit a town that we don't usually go to because we need the stops.
Yeah. Also, that quest is ridiculous, and I ran out of berries real fast.
Oh, I had a shit ton of berries. I've had so many berries because I knew I needed them for the Mew quest. I just finished the Mew quest, by the way. Actually, I just finished that myself.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I got a fucking like ridiculously good Mew too. Actually, I think I got like a 92, 93.
Nice.
I never look at IVs. Like that's too far down the rabbit hole for me. I
mean,
like it. The game.
You're further down the rabbit hole than we are.
No, the game tells you like this is a perfect stat. Has this bonus, and if it has all 3 of the bonuses, then it's 100. Then that's great. But if it's like perfect HP, then that's cool. Perfect attack, okay, that's
you can
cool.
get hundreds without having all 3 perfect.
I got a 93. No, I know. I downloaded the app. There's an app for Android that just works.
Yeah.
And you just press a button and you click 2 buttons and then you're done. Like you don't have to do any more work.
Pokegenie?
Yeah, Pokegenie. And you don't even actually
Pokegenie.
have to do all that work because as soon as you see one that's like a 40, then you're just like, all right, cool, bye. Like candy.
Yeah, no, I
With
just
an iPhone, it's a bit more of a pain in the ass. Kathy's been having a bitch of a time with that. Because you have to like with the Apple version of the app, you have to take a screenshot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how the other IV apps work.
Yeah, whereas with Pokegenie, it does that same thing, but it's just screen capturing instead of having to take a screenshot. So
Yeah, it's more work than I want to put in for this game.
that's fair.
Like I bought a thing where I press a button that hits Pokestop. You know, like
Yeah,
that's
the the cheater thing, whatever.
Yeah, but
No,
like, you
no,
still have to
it's the
discard
Go Plus.
Pokemon,
It's-
so you can't know what's going to be competitive for.
No,
I couldn't
it's
say that.
when you get to a certain point, like once you have enough people in a raid, it doesn't matter. And like I've never had the problem of like if we don't have enough people, then we don't have enough people for a raid, you know.
Right.
But most non-tier 5 raids, you only need like 2 people, 4 tops, and it's
That's fair.
I've never cared enough to put the work into like min-maxing my team. I'm like, okay, the game tells me this Pokemon is the best HP. Okay, that's going to be the one I stick in gyms.
Fair. No, that's fair. I totally understand, and I don't blame you for that.
And I say this as somebody who like has it open while I'm stuck in traffic and, you know, goes out and hits the stop near my apartment every day. You know, it's like I care a lot, but not that much.
Fair. All right, let's move on. We got 2 topics left tonight. Longer podcast than usual. I know Cali is a big fan of Harmonix.
Not current harmonics.
Okay, well, you were previously.
Yes.
Well, maybe this won't rebuild your trust in them. Twitch came out with a thing where they said, "Oh, we want to do stupid things built just for Twitch," and blah blah blah. And they did this. There was a stupid video where there was like this girl, and she was like, "Yeah, you can even do a dating app," and everybody's like, "No, it's a terrible fucking idea. What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, I saw that video. Just
that
like,
was a pretty terrible
hey,
video.
we want to do a bunch of stuff with Twitch, and
Also a pretty dumb
Yeah.
idea, but maybe it won't be that dumb. It's kind of like somewhere in the middle. Twitch Sings, which is a game that sounds exactly what you think it sounds like. It's karaoke on Twitch.
What if Jackbox, but made by Twitch for Twitch, using a phone?
is it
Twitch.
Is it actually a game?
It's a thing.
I can't find a video of it. Like,
I don't
No
think
video.
it's beta. It's in like super beta.
because
they have-
I played these SingStar games. Like they
Yeah.
they would judge your pitch, and
Right.
you know, it was almost kind of a video game.
They use the term game. Take
There's
with
a
that what you
video,
will.
and it's a game that you play, but no one has it on their computer.
Because there
It's
was
on your phone.
SingStar on PS3, and
Yes.
that was also basically like you're filming yourself singing all these songs, and it tried to build a social network on that, and it didn't work.
Right.
So if they're trying that again, but with Twitch, at least
Okay,
the
this is-
platform's already there.
Well, actually, no. This does look like a game. It does look like a game. Here's a video of 2 dudes singing. You can actually go. There's a thing. I don't know if anybody's doing it right now. Oh yeah, no. There are a bunch of people actually doing it.
Oh,
There's
people are doing
a bunch
it.
of clips.
Oh, okay.
There's a bunch of clips. There's no live. I guess they had it. They probably had it available at.
At the Twitch, yeah.
It looks like they had it available at TwitchCon. There's actually there's
Yeah,
videos, like
I'll watch
6 hours
after this, yeah.
But yeah, it looks like SingStar. It looks basically like exactly SingStar, honestly. I don't know if there are raids or not. It looks like there are. So, I personally don't have much interest in these types of things. I'm not a big karaoke person, although I do enjoy me some Rock Band singing sometimes, but not like in front.
I do karaoke almost every week, and the thing about karaoke that I enjoy is that there's a bunch of people there who most of whom are about as bad as you in terms of singing ability, and you're all half drunk, and that's the environment, and everyone claps, everyone's supportive. It like you're forced to face these people. This isn't Twitch chat, you know, saying awful things. It's a different environment.
I think it sounds very similar to me, but I also, as I said, I don't.
Yeah, no, but at actual karaoke, you can kick their ass if they're being assholes.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
lot of online environments. If people are being assholes, you can't go up and punch them in the face, so they don't feel any rejection of being complete dicks online.
I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but like, at the beginning of the year, Surgery School was like, we're going to force these kids to interact with each other and get off their goddamn phones. That's
right.
That's part of the one of the problems with Twitch is that you can spam, you know, awful emotes at people instead of actually talking.
Yeah.
But that's online discourse in general, I guess.
That is online discourse in general at the moment. But something that's completely not online, and it'll be our final topic for the night, as I'm going to segue off of that. One of the things we talked about on one of the first VGZ podcasts of this season was the PlayStation Mini, or PlayStation Classic.
All right.
Whatever the fuck Sony decided they wanted to call it this week.
The Classic, yeah.
So you say that, and I like it a lot. Actually.
Yeah,
I'm not
we'll
as
get to the
negative as
part where I'm
everybody
talking
else.
about. Yeah,
I'm not as negative as everybody else on this.
you were a little negative earlier.
They
Anyways, go
announced
ahead.
20 games, the 20 games that'll be part of it.
Man, fucking Ars Technica, their headline is, the full game list announced, and it might annoy you. Fuck you.
I mean, it was always going to annoy somebody. Somebody was always going to be unhappy. They only are going to put 20 games in the thing. Things we already knew about on the console. We knew Jumping Flash was going to be on it. We knew Final Fantasy VII was going to be on it.
Yes.
We knew Tekken 3 was going to be on it, and I think we knew Ridge Racer Type 4, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 4 we knew. So adding to those 4, we have Battle Arena Toshinden, which I think is a fine addition considering that was a launch time.
I think that is an essential for this collection.
Yes,
I don't
think it's appropriate.
It doesn't hold up.
No, it does not. But it makes sense if we're going based on, games that were like launch titles / legendary to the console. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool Borders 2. Okay. I think that's fine. I think that time frame, Cool Borders was one of those games that when the console first came out, a lot of people liked. 2 was the better one of the 3, if I remember correctly, or 4. I think they made 4 of those. But 2 was the good one. I do remember 2 being pretty good. Destruction Derby.
That's a good game.
That is a damn good game. And when I texted my brother actually about the release number or what was coming out, he was like, man, Destruction Derby. I'm like, yeah, we rented the fuck out of the Destruction Derby from a local Blockbuster.
Yeah.
That game was great.
I played the hell out of that demo.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I also played the shit out of that demo. We already knew about Final Fantasy VII. The original Grand Theft Auto, which I think is an interesting include. I like it because the game hasn't really been that available. It doesn't age. I don't think it ages very well.
It's such a different,
but it was fun.
It's such a different thing than what GTA is now.
Yes. I remember renting that one from Blockbuster as well. I actually liked it a lot back in the day. I thought it was cool. It's sort of it's almost an arcadey game.
Yeah.
In that age. And then for one of the more weirder ones, which I'm actually pretty excited is actually on this console, Intelligent Cube.
It's a good pull, and also this game is actually really hard to find.
Yes, it actually is a harder to find game. It's one of the more rarer, not as expensive as some other games on the console to find in physical form, but it is one of the rarer ones
up there.
out there.
Yeah.
And then Jumping Flash we knew about. And then they actually did it. They actually put Metal Gear Solid on it, which I think is a bad decision.
So, okay. Are these controllers going to have rumble?
No.
Then what the fuck?
They don't have rumble or DualShock. They're not
then
DualShock.
What are they doing?
That's what I'm saying.
How is Psycho Mantis going to work?
I don't know. It won't, because none of the other games on it have... none of the other games in this have the thing either, so you can't even get his cool thing with the memory card. I can't wait for people to hack stuff into it.
I see you're a fan of Castlevania.
Yeah, so somebody puts like Symphony of the Night on there, so you could have that interaction happen on a console that wasn't designed to have the game on it, or something like that. I agree. I agree. It's not a good. I don't think it's a good choice. I also don't think the original Metal Gear Solid has aged all that well as much as.
It's a good choice, but on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's ill-equipped.
Yes, I agree. Mr. Driller.
Great game.
It is a great game. I think it's fine on the console. I think it's not a weird include, but it's definitely one of the odder includes. Speaking of Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which I think is a perfect choice.
Great game.
I think we even said Oddworld in our. They should put this on the console.
Honestly, yes, I feel like people should buy this so they can play this original version and not the remake, because the remake does a lot of things wrong.
Yes. Rayman, the original Rayman, which
It's a hard game.
A hard game. I'm not surprised to see it, although I will, if I remember, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the Dreamcast version like so much better, and like everybody thought the PS1 version was shit? Even like the N64 version was better. Like the PS1 was just bad. The version was just bad.
The only version I ever played was PS1. So
okay. Clearly, Ubisoft got into this to do some licensing stuff, as there will be another choice in the moment. I'm just going alphabetical. Resident Evil Director's Cut. I love Resident Evil 1. And Director's Cut, obviously, is the definitive version of the original game. It's not the DualShock version of Resident Evil 2, though. Which I think was the best game they made in that platform, in my opinion. So I understand Director's Cut is good. And the remake of 2 is coming out soon.
Did you just say RE1 DualShock Edition was the best PS1 game?
No, I said RE2 DualShock Edition.
Oh, okay. I still don't agree.
Okay. Which one? You thought Nemesis was better?
No. Do you mean the best RE game or the best...
I meant the best RE game on the PS1.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the best PlayStation game. I was about to have words.
No. That would definitely be wrong if I said that. I did not mean that.
There would definitely be Bruce Willis's Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course, it'd be Bruce Willis's Apocalypse.
Too bad that wasn't on here.
I am very disappointed. Persona, the original Persona, is also on this console, which I think is an interesting include. Not the best localization. One of the worst localizations, in fact, of that time, because they Americanized the fuck out of it. And so every review I've ever read is like, yeah, it's a pretty good RPG, but they kind of destroyed it. So I think that's an interesting pick.
Like many people, I never even heard of Persona until 3, so...
Fair. That's fair. Most people did not. We knew about Resurrection Type 4. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Great game.
I think it's a great game. Interesting include, and not including, like, I don't know, alpha...
No,
like
they just put out the collection.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, and there are also 2 other fighting games on this list, so I guess
we have more than enough Street Fighter, even just in collections.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have Alpha 3 on my Vita TV.
That's pretty cool. The next pick, I think. We actually talked about during the original podcast, but Siphon Filter 1.
Yeah, this falls under those, like, okay, this is probably an essential pick.
Yes, I think they needed to put a Siphon Filter game in, but it came out in 99, and I swore that the DualShock controller was required for it. I could be wrong. Obviously, I must be wrong because they're not releasing it with a DualShock controller. But I swore that you needed the DualShock controller for it.
Just like MGS. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess
might
I'm
have put
wrong.
in a workaround, or they might just be announcing this without having finalized all of the games or understanding of what...
Well, they waited this long to announce the rest of the games. Like, they didn't
Sure
tease out.
thing.
They didn't tease out more games. They just put them all out at once. Like, here's all the
Yeah.
games.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me for a game company to make a mistake like that on one of these things.
Considering how soon
That's
this is
not
coming out,
Nintendo.
that would not happen with.
Okay,
this.
so looking at the box art, it does say analog control compatible, not required. So, I guess it is playable without the DualShock controller, but going to be a lot more difficult because it's a fucking like third-person shooter.
Yeah,
So
that's
good luck. Tekken 3, which we knew about. Now here's the weird include. I think most people got stuck on this, and I actually understand why it's included, but Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, the original Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Now, I think the reason this was included is a little different than most people would think, but I think it's because they already got Ubisoft to put in a game, and they asked Ubisoft for another game to put in, and Ubisoft has no other games on the PS1 that were worth putting on there.
Now I need to look up what. Hold on.
Yeah, I know, I do too, because I'm putting that out there, and I don't know if I'm correct. They could have put Inspector Gadget's Crazy Maze, or the Dukes of Hazzard game,
I think I played
Yeah,
that.
Dukes of Hazzard would be better than fucking Rainbow Six.
or Carmageddon.
Shadow Gunner: The Robot Wars.
They could have put Rayman 2.
Tales of Eternia, was that them?
All Star Tennis 99.
They published Grandia,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
they could have put Grandia on there. I think it's a little ridiculous. I actually,
Oh,
I'm gonna
hold
go
up.
against the grain here.
Hold on.
But I loved the original Rainbow Six.
Donald Duck going quackers.
There you go.
It was good on PC.
I think the PS1 game copy was actually pretty good.
There was a
With an
little
analog
Nicky
stick?
game on the Game Boy.
I don't know. Anyways, I think that's the weird one. Also, Twisted Metal. Not Twisted Metal 2, but Twisted Metal. And I think that's a missed opportunity because I think Twisted Metal 2 was the better game by a mile and a half. And why you wouldn't include the better game, I don't understand.
There was a kart racer based off the animated series.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The
what?
Batman animated series.
I wouldn't
Yes.
be surprised. There's Kart Racer of fucking everything. And then finally, the last game of the 20 for the U.S. and Western, or the Western total release, is Wild Arms, which I think makes perfect.
Great game.
Yeah.
That is like, I have a fondness for like classic JRPGs, and that is in there.
Now, to be fair, some games that are in the Japanese lineup, because the Japanese lineup, of course, is different, are miles ahead, in my opinion, in some cases.
Yeah, this is the part
So
where
this
I
is a
was
little
like,
tough.
this is the part of what was like, oh wow, we get that, and they get
Arc the Lad 1 and 2, Armored Core, Gradius Gaiden, which is fucking awesome, along with G Darius, which is also fucking awesome.
G Darius, is that just an anagram of Gradius?
No. G Darius was Darius, the the horizontal shooter.
So yeah, okay.
No. It's a different game. It's a completely different. It's a different publisher. Darius was Taito.
I'm just saying, Gradius is an anagram of G Darius. That's all I'm saying.
yes,
I
it is.
understand what you're saying.
It's just not what you're saying.
It's not what you're saying.
It's not the
G Darius
meaning
was a
of what you're saying.
Taito. G Darius was. I was right. It was a Taito shooter. Gradius is the Konami, the classic
Yeah,
Konami. Shooter.
literally, Cali, you are technically correct about what you are saying. Yep.
Which is the best kind of correct.
Oh,
but
wait, the
also-
literal thing he is saying, yes, but
Yes.
the what the meaning of that is no.
I know.
I think he's being.
I know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying.
There are two other games that they also are getting that we are not getting. One of which is Saga Frontier, which people are yes and no about. And then Psy, which we had to look up because I remember us having this conversation earlier today, which is actually Double Dice. And actually, the reason they included it is actually kind of neat. Double Dice, or XI, was actually originally created on the homebrew Yarose platform, which was a homebrew platform for like colleges and schools in Japan, for you to be able to make games for the PlayStation. It was one of the only games to actually make that leap from the Yarose platform to the actual PlayStation.
Huh. I never knew about this Eurose.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. It's actually pretty cool. It was released in the U.S. as well, but I think the main sort of kick it had was in the Japanese market. Although I
Priced
guess
at around
some-
$750
Yeah,
for
it
the
was
dev
expensive.
kit.
It was not cheap.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a dev kit.
It was a dev kit. It was as I said, it was sort of meant to be put in, like it was meant for kind of like for colleges and high schools and such, so they could have, the ability to have like school projects do stuff with it, basically. Yeah. But yeah, like a lot of things ended up on like demo discs. People got games on demo discs. As I said, the big one was Double Dice. That was the most like well-known one, I think. So yeah, I mean, I think the PlayStation, the Japanese one is a pretty good collection. I think the US one's fine. I'm not canceling my pre-order. People are like, oh, I canceled my pre-order immediately because it didn't have game I wanted.
I think it's a good list of games. I don't know if it's $100 good, but I think it is a good way to play those games.
The one thing I think it points out more than anything is how dismal fucking Sony is with its backwards compatibility on PS4.
Uh-huh.
You have this giant fucking library of classic fucking games, and you just decline to make it available for people to play. And it's just insane. Like, say what shit you want about Nintendo sending DMCAs, at least they put out some of their fucking classic shit.
Yeah.
Sony has basically, since the PS3 was done, they have basically tried to ignore it as best as possible. Why are people canceling their pre-order Southern? Sorry, I sort of dropped into a Southern drawl there. I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead.
A little bit. Few hours.
Well, I showed up. No. I mean, to be fair, I just got into the southern part of Red Dead. There's a region that takes place.
Yeah,
in the south. It's kind of interesting.
After we're done with this, I just want to mention a quick story about a friend. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, so I think that's where we're at the end of the podcast here. So
yeah. Just before we wrap up though, real quick.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to mention this when you talked about Red Dead earlier. My friend picked it up, and he had the day off or whatever. He went to midnight release, picked it up, came home, played it, didn't fall asleep, went to work, went home, played it, didn't fall asleep, went back to work.
Jesus. I was originally planning on doing that Thursday night, essentially, when it came out, and I realized that I'm starting to get a little old, and I couldn't stay up.
Yeah, he's about 2 years younger than me, so.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I want to thank everyone for watching the podcast this evening, as well as thanking Mr. Cali, Mr. Deadpool, and Mr. Donut, who apparently might have fallen asleep on us.
He absolutely fell asleep.
Fantastic. Well, that's all for now. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next Sunday, this Sunday, in 6 days, hopefully, maybe, with the next episode of the VGC podcast. But for now, thank you for watching and listening.